Amnesty International Stolen Sisters is a campaign fighting for the justice of missing and killed Indigenous women and girls. Amnesty International urges to call on the Government of Canada to make a clear commitment to First Nations, Inuit, and Métis women and girls, a commitment to value them enough to count them correctly in official crime statistics, to provide opportunities for their voices to be heard, and to work together with them to develop a comprehensive approach to addressing the factors provoking this violence. A legacy of history. Violence against women and children within Indigenous families and communities is widely understood to be part of a broader spectrum of social stress that has resulted from government policies imposed on Indigenous peoples without their consent. For more than a century, from the 1870s through the mid-1980s, the Canadian government took away Indigenous women's status as Indigenous people under the Federal Indian Act, along with the right to live in their home communities, if they married a non-Indigenous man or a man from another community. These policies resulted in the uprooting of tens of thousands of Indigenous women, jeopardizing their ties to their families and increasing their dependence on their spouses. During roughly the same period, the government required Indigenous children to be educated off-reserve residential schools where, in addition to being punished for speaking their language or practicing their cultures, many were subjected to inhuman living conditions and physical and sexual abuse. Stolen Sisters. Human rights issue? Violence against women, and certainly violence against Indigenous women, is rarely understood as a human rights issue. Indigenous women and girls have the right to be safe and free from violence. When a woman is targeted for violence because of her gender or because of her Indigenous identity, her fundamental rights have been abused. And when she's not offered a proper level of protection by the state authorities because of her gender or because of her Indigenous identity, those rights have been violated. If you are an Indigenous woman or girl in Canada, whether you live on a reserve or an urban area, regardless of your age or socioeconomic status, the simplest fact that you are an Indigenous woman or girl means that you are 3 times more likely to be killed than any other woman or girl in Canada.
Created using Powtoon.